Hi folks, you're Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the search for a new British Prime Minister. I think everyone's noticed that the majority of candidates are non-white. I think out of the last count of potential candidates, or those that the media at least are claiming they're putting their hand up for the role, of the 13 that I've seen at the most recent article, only 3 straight white men. Only 3. Now, the last time I looked, the British population is allegedly 80+% white. Assuming that the statistics are accurate there. And the globalists have a big incentive to cover that up. So to pretend that the migration and illegal migration in particular is much less than it actually is. But let's assume for the moment it is over 80%. Then you would expect that at a minimum, assuming that there was going to be an equal or roughly equal proportion of candidates, then you would think that 8 of the 10 or 80% or thereabouts of the candidates would be white, and approximately half of those would be white males. Again, assuming equal distribution. Now, if you go to any sort of political local branch meeting, as they call it, in say the Westminster system, Britain, Australia, Canada, that sort of thing. If you go to any meeting, you'll see for the local political party, you'll see that white men are 90+% of the people present. All the minorities combined constitute 10-15%, maybe maximum, of all the people attending. So white males disproportionately participate in politics at the grassroots level. Now, you might find a little bit different in, say, inner city gay lesbian areas where there's more of a lower level participation, but that's usually that participation is usually achieved through activating the college kid rent-a-mob type crowd rather than actual sort of on the ground heavy lifting in the political arena. So anyway, so in reality, the around 90% of the candidates should be straight white males that are standing, but that's not so. So what I'd like to do, I've noticed a few commentators are saying, well, isn't that fantastic that Britain has got so many black females or non-white females running for prime ministership? That shows what a virtuous country. The British have given up their old ways of evil fucking fascist Hitler, racism, bigotry, Nazism. They've given that up and they've embraced beauty and wonder and sweetness and light. And that's evidenced by how many fucking black lesbians they've got in key roles. It just shows how fucking virtuous they are. Now, the reality, of course, is something a little different. So if we look at the British political situation, and if we look at the candidates that are standing, and I'll pick one out. And by the way, the fact there are so many non-white candidates standing for prime ministership in Britain is viewed as something wonderful, woke, and virtuous. So why don't we say the same thing about China? Well, how many black lesbians are standing for the Communist Party Politburo in China? How many black lesbians are running the United Nations? Shouldn't all the cozy, well-paid gravy train jobs be given to black lesbians there? So why don't we spread some of this virtue around? But it just doesn't seem to work. What about the World Economic Forum? Why doesn't Klaus Schwab and all his crony mates all stand down from their roles and give their positions to black lesbians? In the name of equity, of course, and the beauty of social justice. They don't seem to want to do that. I wonder why. So it's really only white countries, exclusively and only white countries, that have to give up jobs in the body politic from their own local population and give it to black, brown, lesbian, and everyone else. So it's only the white countries and only straight white males that have to give up their positions. I wonder why that is. Maybe someone can explain it to me. Maybe that's the new liberal world order in in stark relief. But I want to look at one of the candidates that's put her hand up for the prime ministership, and let's just have a little look at her background and get some perspective on just how much the Western political system has become a plaything. Let me just repeat that: plaything for the globalists. Now, this woman's African, and her folks were both beneficiaries of affirmative action and quotas. So her father got quite a good job where he wasn't required to meet a meritorious standard, and the mother also was given an affirmative action role, quite a privileged, prestigious role. And was also a poster child for political correctness and woke politics and race hustling and that sort of stuff. So at an early age, she was picked out by the Conservative Party backroom machine boys, who were all white guys, by the way, who thought that in the future there would be, and reasonably calculated in the future, there would be a demand for black women politicians as a way of connecting with the black community, that they intended to grow and to bring lots more of them into the white countries, Britain in this case. So she was picked out at an early age and came sort of the right sort of family background, and they had a bit of money and so on. But she was affirmative action through high school, affirmative action into university. Now, you can always tell the affirmative action gig here by the sort of thing, ends up as president of the Students' Union, a meritorious, highest sort of past degree in engineering. It's always engineering if they want to give them real cred. Gets book deals, book publishing deals, that sort of stuff. So clearly they're building the character. Now, could she have achieved any of these things on her own strictly through merit? Not a chance, not even a remote chance. So we're looking here at someone who's been created as you would build something in a factory and then wheel it out into front of the cameras. So she was given a chance of standing for election for some different things like local councils, that sort of stuff. It didn't get anywhere, nor would she. Again, the attitude and the entitled attitude would have gone down like a lead balloon. There's no way she's going to win any fucking election on merit. So finally, on a third or fourth election attempt, incredibly, the two candidates or three candidates who came in front of her, she didn't win anything. They all pulled out, and they all decided for some reason not to take the position. So she got given the role by default. Shortly after that, she was gifted one of the safest Conservative electoral district seats in the nation. Gifted it, someone who'd achieved nothing in her own right, who contributed nothing, achieved nothing, all to create a black female poster child for the party, was gifted this unlosable seat. You can't lose it. Whoever's in that seat will never be ousted from it. So he's been gifted this seat. Now, within a few months of arriving in Parliament, she's given a minister's role. He's given a fucking minister's role. This person who's got no expertise in government or administration or anything at all is given a minister's role in the federal government within weeks or a few months of arriving in Parliament, to a seat she was gifted to anyway. Again, someone who's done nothing, achieved nothing in her own right, and she's held ministerial positions in government right throughout. Again, these are all affirmative action gifts. Someone like that wouldn't have been sweeping the floor in the Parliament. Backbenchers have to spend years, on policy committees, things like that, really learning their craft, or in the days when politics meant something and they really represented the people. But instead, this politically correct black female poster child was gifted everything. She's done nothing, achieved jack shit since she entered high school. Now, also the jobs, before getting into politics, the job she was given straight out of college, she's given a very cozy job with an organisation that has a super woke platform. We only hire black lesbians around here. This woman isn't a lesbian, by the way, and then gets another cozy job, then gets into merchant banking. It just gets gifted a job in merchant banking, and there again you see that's the globalist touch. That is the globalist touch there to bring them into merchant banking. Then she's given a job as an editor at one of the world's most prominent and prestigious media outlets. She just gets gifted. Just one day she's plucked off the street that you're a fucking editor at one of the most prestigious brand names in the fucking world. This is the sort of person we're dealing with. Now, this is the person who is putting her hand up for the prime minister's role. I mean, she'd be working on the checkout at the local supermarket if it wasn't for wasn't for all this help. That's a sort of standard person, and now she's got quite a confident bearing and has that sort of when she's giving a speech, like she's lecturing lesser people and is reminding us all of her entitlement, that sort of thing. But that comes from someone who's never had to try and fail and do the hard lifting, heavy lifting, and be told, no, you fucked it up. You have to learn and do it again. So this is someone who's never had to face that. And she's now, and this is the state. This is the state of British politics. This woman who has achieved nothing in her own life has been gifted everything. And the only reason she's there is because she's black and female, is now standing for the role of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I mean, fuck me. That's how far things have been torn to pieces by the globalists. They're treating all Western governments now as little toys. These overgrown fucking children, these globalist entitled children, are treating the governments as toys to just be played with. And the population, we're not even the shit on their shoes. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.